Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. In gearing up for my upcoming fall trip to Walt Disney World, I am getting really excited thinking about all of those great activities at Disney World that I love and miss. Therefore, in today's video, we're taking a break from Disney Vacation Club information and instead we'll be focusing on Trader Sam's over at the Polynesian Resort. If you've never been to Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, I'll have all of your need-to-know information. And if you have been, please leave your thoughts about Trader Sam's in the comments down below. Definitely if you have any tips, please share. I can't wait to dive into this topic with you today, so let's get to it. Before we get into Trader Sam's, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you want to help my channel grow with some free actions, be sure to hit that thumbs up button to like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. You can ring that bell icon to receive notifications whenever I post new videos. I love interacting with you all, so be sure to leave a comment down below. I genuinely appreciate it. On to Trader Sam's. Effectively, this is a bar located in the Polynesian Resort, but it is so much more than just a bar. It's a little bit clandestine. In order to find Trader Sam's, start at the first floor lobby and make your way out to Captain Cook's. Basically, keep walking down that hall, and on the right before you exit will be a door. That's Trader Sam's. Since Disney World closed for the pandemic, Trader Sam's has remained closed. If this is something you want to experience, be sure to keep checking back the official Walt Disney World website for Trader Sam's to see when it's back open. And when it does open back up, be sure to look at the times. Prior to the pandemic, Trader Sam's was not open at all times. Typically, it opened in the afternoon, either 3 or 4 p.m., and then was open through the evening and closed down around midnight or so. Trader Sam's is an immaculately themed tiki bar that reminds you of the Enchanted Tiki Room, but with a lot of fun touches and nods to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There definitely are also hints of the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise ride is undergoing a slight retheme, but from what we know so far, it doesn't seem like they intend to touch Trader Sam's at all. The connection between the ride and the bar is that Trader Sam on that Jungle Cruise attraction is the head salesman, so in the bar you'll find cute things like little shrunken heads. This place is decorated to the nines. There's always something new and fun to look at. It's incredibly immersive, and in my opinion, it's quite unique. The drinks here are expensive, for sure. They're some of the more expensive options you'll find at Walt Disney World, but they also tend to be strong. The general idea behind tiki drinks overall is that they are quite strong and actually do pack quite a punch, but it is disguised in really lovely, fruity flavors for the most part. That being said, drinks don't tend to be overly sweet. They are really well-balanced cocktail concoctions. In addition to drinks, Trader Sam's does offer a limited food menu. It's usually things like appetizers and small plates, not necessarily full meals here. Trader Sam's is a really kitschy, fun place. In that main indoor lounge section, special effects and antics are triggered when certain drinks are ordered. I don't want to spoil any of the fun for anyone who hasn't been, but expect to let loose a little bit, let your guard down, and have a good time when you're at Trader Sam's. Some of these antics definitely include bar patron participation, and it's more fun to join in rather than sit back and judge. You might be seated on a trick stool, and hey, you might even get a little bit wet. The point is, it's an incredibly interactive experience. Unfortunately, I don't really have pictures or video footage to share with you of the Trader Sam's lounge. It's a little bit dark in there, and when I've gone previously, I just had my phone, which is quite old, so the camera quality is pretty poor. But there is plenty of footage online if you do want the full gambit of spoilers. I especially like the Mouse Steps YouTube channel. You can search for Mouse Steps and Trader Sam's Grog Grotto drink effects, and you'll definitely find what you're looking for. Alright, great, sounds awesome. Let's go! But unfortunately, as with all things Disney, it's not really quite that simple. The indoor lounge portion of Trader Sam's has extremely limited capacity. It's around 50 people or so. They do not take advanced dining reservations. This is a first come, first served situation. If you want to guarantee yourself a seat, I would get there early, around 30 or 45 minutes prior to opening. In my past experience, they were opening up at 4 p.m., so I would get there around 3:20 p.m. or so. If there's a line already formed outside, then get in that line. And if there's not a line, you will start the line. Usually about a half hour prior to opening, a cast member will come out from inside and start to take down names on a list. Now, I and my friends have had somewhat variable experiences with what happens next. Sometimes they just put your name down on the list. Once this occurs, you are free to leave the line, go explore the resort. Just be sure to come back around 10 minutes before opening to make sure you are there for when they call your name. Sometimes they will take your name and then give you a pager like at a restaurant. Same deal, you are free to leave the line, but be sure to be around when your pager buzzes. It seems like the pagers are being phased out though in favor of taking down your phone number along with your name in order to send you a text message. In this case, if you miss your name being called, they will usually text you and you'll have about a 10-minute window to get there, but during this time they may continue to admit people and move down the list. Generally, if you're trying to rope drop Trader Sam's and you're getting your name on that list early, I definitely think it's worth it to head down there 10 minutes prior to open to make sure you don't miss your spot. But say you don't want to rope drop, you just want to stroll by and see what's up. In this case, if the indoor lounge portion is at capacity, a cast member typically will take both your name and your phone number. Then they will text you when some capacity opens up and you can come in. Depending on the night and your timing and honestly luck, this could be a bit of a wait. I've had friends wait for 45 minutes, for example, to get texted to be let into Trader Sam's. It can also be as short as 10 minutes though. It really just depends on when the folks who are currently inside get up to leave. I just mentioned that if you want to guarantee yourself a seat at Trader Sam's, I would definitely do this rope drop method where you get there early, put your name on the list, and then are ready when your name gets called. I mentioned specifically if you want to sit because while capacity is around 50 people or so, that does not mean there are 50 or so seats. Some amount of this capacity is standing room only. Seating thus far has also been seat yourself. When it's your turn to enter the lounge, typically no one will be seating you. It's kind of just a mad dash to grab wherever you can to sit. If you are a smaller party and you find a larger table and chairs to sit at, be prepared to share. Another party is probably going to ask to sit, and after all, it's a bar, so just be communal. Everyone's here to have a good time. If you have your choice of seats, I think that the seating on the far left side of the room is pretty fantastic. These are comfy, sort of sofa seating situations with tables, and again, if you're a smaller party, be prepared to share. I like this vantage point in the room because essentially you can see most of the fun antics and effects from when people order certain drinks from your seat. You don't necessarily have to crane your head around a ton like you would if you were sitting at the bar. That being said, I do love sitting at the bar. I always think it's fun to be right up in the bartender's face, seeing all the action, the drinks being made, and all the antics that they're pulling out. If you've got a very large party, you may be hard-pressed to sit all together. There is one very large table in the middle that's shaped like a surfboard. Generally, that's for sort of communal dining and drinking, but hey, if you get there first and the table's open, you and your party are more than welcome to take it. Now, if you get there right at opening, say opening is at 4 p.m. and you arrive right around 4 p.m., chances are very high that the lounge will be at capacity already. You can put your name and your phone number down on the wait list now. That being said, you will be waiting the full round. Everyone has just entered the bar, so you've got that full round of seating before anybody leaves, really. There might be a few people who end up leaving early if you're lucky, but generally speaking, it's going to be a long wait. If you can't get there prior to opening in order to do this rope drop strategy that I suggest, then I would suggest actually getting there a bit later. Getting there around 4 p.m. just seems like a waste of time if you ask me. If you delay your arrival a little bit, you might get lucky and get there when the first wave of people that have been seated are starting to exit. This, of course, is extremely variable, as with human nature. But generally speaking, as with most bars in my experience, around an hour and a half or so, people start to close the tabs and mosey out. They've had their fill, and also their wallets might be crying a little bit by an hour and a half. If Trader Sam's is opening up at 4 p.m. and you can't get there by 3:30 p.m., then I would suggest going around 5:30 p.m. or so. Hopefully by now, some people are trickling out and your wait time will be minimal. If you are traveling with folks who are underage, they are welcome into the Trader Sam's indoor lounge portion, but only until a certain time in the night. Traditionally, that has been 8 p.m. After this time, it turns into 21 plus only. If this is a factor for your travel party, I would definitely plan on getting to Trader Sam's early. In terms of strategy to minimize your wait, other than this rope drop, generally speaking, weekends are going to be more crowded than weekdays. Also, if you're leaving Magic Kingdom after the fireworks with that huge crowd, there tends to be an influx of people headed to Trader Sam's then as well. Now, I think Trader Sam's is incredibly fun, but it is loud, it's a little bit dark, it's definitely crowded, it's an overstimulating situation. This may absolutely not be your thing. If you still want to try the drinks, many of which you can only get here, you do have another option. Rather than deal with the wild atmosphere of that inside lounge portion, you can go around the corner outside to a terrace. On this really lovely outdoor patio, you'll have access to the same menu and you'll have Seven Seas Lagoon behind you. There's tables with umbrellas as well as a lovely water feature. Sometimes there is live music, but it tends to be something pretty chill, like live ukulele. It's not an intense situation outside. The vibe on the terrace is just completely different. Usually it's a lot quieter, and I find it to be a lot more relaxing. And if you're pretty introverted, you aren't subjected to all of the audience participation antics from the inside lounge portion. This outside terrace portion also usually doesn't have that age restriction. So if you have folks who are under 21 in your travel party and want to grab some of those Trader Sam's drinks but can't make it until after 8 p.m., head outside. The outside terrace is, generally speaking, far less popular because you aren't fully immersed in that environment, which is a big appeal of Trader Sam's, but honestly, it's a really nice option for a lot of folks. Overall, I think Trader Sam's is a must-do at least once. It's not something I'd say that I have to do every single trip. And certainly, depending on what kind of activities you do or do not enjoy, this may just be a skip for you. I love going to tiki bars in general. It's something that my partner and I do in our hometown. So it's really right up our alley. And yes, it is overpriced, but I definitely just expect that from Disney, and especially alcohol in Disney. My main complaints are that if you really do want a seat, you kind of have to rope drop in order to guarantee yourself a seat. If you show up later and are let in because there's capacity, it's not guaranteed that that capacity will be a seat, you may be standing room only. And as with all bars at Disney, sometimes folks overindulge. I find this to be especially true at Trader Sam's, though it tends to be quite rowdy, quite drunken, and it can get annoying. It can be less than magical to be squeezed into that small lounge space with a lot of strangers, particularly if they are past their limit. But if things become too much or you've just had your fill of all of the fun effects on the inside, head outside to the terrace. If you enjoy drinking in Disney, I think rope dropping Trader Sam's is a great midday break from the Magic Kingdom. It may not be worth a trip to the Poly all alone depending on what your preferences are, but hey, head over there for a late lunch from Captain Cook's and then head into the bar just for a little bit of fun. Get some air conditioning, relax before you head back to the crowded park. Let me know what you think about Trader Sam's Grog Grotto in the comments down below. And if you have any tips to give about getting into this place, seating you like, the drinks or food you like the best, definitely let me know. I love hearing about your experiences. We can also chat outside of YouTube over on Twitter and Instagram. You'll find me at PixieDustPhD. Is Trader Sam's a must-do for you, a skip, or somewhere in between? We went to Trader Sam's on my last trip to Walt Disney World in 2019, so I'm not sure it's going to be a must-do for my upcoming trip. That being said, we'll be staying at Bay Lake Tower for half the trip, so it's not that far away, so I may pencil it in. But if we don't make it, I won't be devastated. Like I said earlier, the area we live in has quite a lot of tiki bars, and while the theming is less immaculate, there's also less audience participation, which my introverted self loves. I'm happy to just sit in a corner and drink my delicious drink by myself. I hope the rest of your day feels like a tropical hideaway, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.